never going to work.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck from Survivor is a very rare circumstance. You're on Survivor for one season and then you're on The View forever. And she's off The View and she's gone on to other things. Yeah, it's hard. Like you really have to. Mindy Kahn from Facts of Life. She came on my podcast recently. I wanted to talk mostly about Facts of Life. We talked about Palm Royale. If I had Mindy back again, all I would do is talk about Palm Royale. She's been trying for 40 years to like have this, you want something outside of the original thing. It's really hard. But when it happens, it's like, oh yeah, wow. I mean, do we think of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos as being people on All My Children? Not really.
But I know, but that was 2 decades ago. You know, Kelly Ripa's now been on
I
TV 2 decades
agree.
ago. That was still when television was its heyday. TikTok is the new talk show. No young people are going back to watching television. They're not. When our parents' generation goes, they're the only people watching the Today Show and all these things that 20 years ago we thought, oh, if only we could be contributors on that. Nobody cares now. If you have a podcast, like people care more about the shit we say than they do know what's going on. I don't even know people that watch The View. I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, I read the other day The View is being canceled. I don't know if that was April Fool's.
It's
I don't
getting
really
very
care.
close. So,
by the way,
stay on the show, Ariana. I've changed my opinion. Do not leave.
Do not leave. Two things. One, let's put a pin in Brock for a minute because I got a lot to say about this Brock. Shady boots, Brock. I find the most interesting thing I found about this episode is recently we had Tom and Ariana in the same room. This really was the first time these two, I mean, they spoke. They fought, they spoke. I mean, listen, I see why people are hating on Ariana. I mean, and then when it's over and she says to Schwartz, you know what? I'm looking at you and I'm so disgusted right now because I'm doing the whole association thing again. Get the hell out of here. And Schwartz leaves the beach. I mean, I don't know how Ariana thought this would be edited, but it's too much. It's too much. I mean, I see why Lala and Scheana, Lala even more than Scheana are coming around to Sandoval. He cheated. It's over. Move on. Look, if he's trying to when he says there's no reason for her to be in the house now, we offered her whatever, and we don't know the details, but the point is she staying in the house just to stick it to him? I mean, yeah, that sounds like a person who's still in love with someone, to your point. She's got to get over it.
Yeah. I mean, the lawyer has not responded in 2 months and they get into it. And she's like, my lawyer will send a well-crafted response. And he's like, I actually thought he had some good points. He's like, your lawyer better. It's been 2 months. Hopefully he's working on something clever. My fucking lawyer is the best. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. But to his point, I mean, if you want out, what is the holdup? Now, her argument has always been that the details is he doesn't really want to give her what it's worth, right? He wants a deal on the way out the door while also, screwing Raquel or Rachel at their house. So I get it, but I mean, if you wanted, they're still in that house, right?
Listen, I've been involved in lawsuits and negotiations and buying apartments, whatever it is, that is called being an adult. You have to give something. You have to lose. That's how you move on. You know what I mean? So if she wants X and he wants Y, you're going to have to agree on X, Y. It's not dollar for dollar. That is life, unfortunately. You think I wanted to pay what I just paid for my new fucking New York City apartment? It's like, yeah. Come from here and here. You meet in the middle. You just are like, we're fighting over fucking pennies at this point and just close the goddamn deal. So I don't get it. It's not how I do business. Whatever it is, I'm not saying to give Tom the house, but you're going to have to take a little bit less to move on with your life. It's like, who said it? Scheana or Lala or someone. And it's like, what mental hell is that? No wonder why you can't move on and you're so bitter. You stop. You guys have to get out of this house. As far as I know, the house isn't sold. I mean, she bought that house. Lala bought the 3.1. Scheana bought a house. Man, everyone is doing well. Everyone's doing well.
Happy. And also they give me hope because I told you this offline, you counsel me, and this is why people need to hire you immediately. I moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago.
I had a hire this past weekend. Guys, I do consulting. I do hourly consulting for podcasts, but for businesses too. I sold a profitable business. Go on.
I'm so grateful for you. No, I mean,
let's hear your story.
They're all in their 40s and they're finally buying homes. I am in my 40s. I moved here 2 years ago. And it's a long story, but I have a financial advisor, and basically they're just like, you anywhere else in this country, except for probably New York State, you make amazing money, but here in California, you don't even have enough money. Now look, it's a $1.2 million house, but my financial advisor is like, if you want to buy a $1.2 million house, you need to make $90,000 more a year. If you saw what we already made, you'd be like, what? It's so crazy. So they give me hope. But the thing is I know people are like, bitch, what are you talking about? Buy a cheaper house. It's true. But what bothers me is people that want to come to California and chase their dream. It's getting harder and harder. And I hate that because LA is, makes people stars, like everybody on Vanderpump. But I feel like that dream is fading away because the cost to be here and operate your own business and try to own a home with kids it really is insane. It's complete insanity.
You and I ultimately will end up in Palm Beach. It's where Harry and Rachel and all my little friends are there. We're going to have to go to Palm Beach, and I will have my home in the Hamptons in New York. And you don't pay taxes. You don't pay state taxes. I'm sorry, pay federal, but you don't pay state tax in Florida. So Florida's, some of you think it's gone wild, and others of you think it's like the haven. So we're going to have to end up in Florida. Now we're going to have to be in Florida for the 186 days. We'll have dinner with Jill Zarin. We're going to have to end up in Florida. Yeah. So ultimately Florida is where we're going to end up. It's that, Vegas, Texas. I don't want the other two.
Or Texas. Okay. Well, anyhow, so I'm proud of them. I'm glad they're making money because I don't think people realize how crazy, how long I know people realize. I know people are feeling it everywhere in this country. So I'm glad they're making money. I think they should. It's awesome to see them because if they can do it, we all can do it. I mean, you guys got to think they spent a decade on television and they couldn't afford a house. It's only recently. That's crazy.
They couldn't afford anything.
They weren't making peanuts prior. Yeah.
By the way, we'll get into Lisa Vanderpump's scene in a second. No, I think Brock is, first of all, it's really funny on the beach where they're going back and forth, and James is like, now, Tom, do you agree to this house plan? Okay, Ariana, no, what is it that you want to tell Tom? James is now stepping in and taking over for Anne. But Brock's a little shit stirrer. He had a lot to say this episode. He drops the bombs, this Brock. I think Scheana is just sitting there. I can't help but break the fourth wall. When he's sitting there and they're at home and she's like, what? Oh, what? Do you want to let me finish? And he's getting dirty. I think Scheana is like, thank God my husband is like becoming a part of the show, second income. This is where my sick mind goes. He makes a lot less than me, but hey, maybe he'll get a little slight raise next, like Brock is trying to earn his keep. I think at night, Sheena's like, you gotta speak up, get in there, get messy. Sorry, you gotta burn a bridge with Katie. You gotta earn the money, honey.